We got new strings, so it's like, whoa. Still wanting to stretch. Okay. Hello, Miss Church. How are you back there? Hello, Mama Church. How are you back there? Where's Mr. Ronnie today? Does everybody get one of those little handout things? Little yellow, orangey looking color? Pumpkin color? Okay. If you will remain seated. My wife and I were talking on this morning on the way over here about different churches that we've attended over the years, and this one church that I've played at and spoke at a few times, the pianist, she always starts the song. We're going to do number 11, by the way, but she always starts it like this. Intro. First note. I think I'm kidding, but she starts it that way. So, for you boys, it's this one. For you girls, it's that one. But she really does. So intro. Did you get it? Yeah. All right. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. Now she would say, now we're going to pick it up. Well, I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got joy like a mountain. I've got joy like a mountain. I've got joy like a mountain in my soul. I've got joy like a mountain.
right, give you help. Clap, clap, give God a clap offering. Come on! Come on! Yeah, give God a clap offering. There we go. I think we're about ready for service now. You guys ready? Ladies and gentlemen, Pastor Steve Adkins.
Thank you, everybody, for coming here today. First day of sunshine we've had on a Sunday in a month. So thank you for choosing to spend it here today. Please silence your cell phones unless you're medical or law enforcement personnel. Me too. The bathrooms are down the hall to the right, quick left. Be looking at them. Please feel free to use them at any time during the service. Is it Maria we settled on that light the candles? And to have Maria light the 3 candles symbolizing the unity of body, mind, and spirit to start the service. Please stand for the invocation or remain standing for the first hymn. Please join me in an attitude of prayer. Thank you, Father God, for this moment here today, the freedom and the opportunity to gather with those of like mind, the freedom and the opportunity to feel and express your love as we feel directed to one by one to each other. We give thanks for all of this love and hope given to us. Amen. We have a reading by Ron Johnston today.
Oh, hey, thank you, Steve.
Good morning.
Steve says, well, since I'm doing the message and all this morning, I've got my hands full, how about you do the pastor's message? I said, okay. So, first thing I want to do is celebrate my son's birthday. That's today. He turned the big 3-0. So, little Jody over there, 30 years ago today, was having some 21 hours of, oh my gosh, is this kid ever going to come? The baby, she's to come, Luigi. So yeah, that was a kind of a memorable day. We were thinking about that. Of course, we're going to go celebrate with him later today. So the message today, I guess I have a couple of questions that some of you have been wondering, like, where am I, right? So I took a vacation, went out to El Paso, Texas, to tend to some personal business things out there. Then I went fishing in Canada, right? And then last Sunday, I was at another church, helping out Pastor Steve's wife, and that was fun. Of course, yes, I miss you, and yes, this is home, and I do talk about you and think about you all week, believe it or not. And during my daily devotional every morning, I pray for this church. You know, we all need prayer. We all need love. And speaking of love, I get to tell you a story, and I told this last night at supper to Steve and Peggy and, of course, Jody. And in my work, I'm in sales. And I work with a bank card company that my job is to go out and solicit new business and either get the business that they've, either help them out with new business or maybe change them out to us and save them some money. And that's my job. But in the process of all that, I do get a lot of rejection, and I get way more no's than I do get yeses. And of course, I do have an appointment setter who helps me out, with some appointments during the day. But part of the time, I have to get out and go, hi, how you doing? My name's Ronnie. And most of the time, I like to joke a little bit, and I'll say, hi, I'm with the bank, and we're giving away some free money. And of course, most people go, whoa, yeah, I'll take some of that free money, and oh, yeah, that's funny. Hey, yeah, I'll take some. Let me get my purse. But occasionally, I get somebody that's having a not so good a morning or whatever, and they don't crack a smile. And this past Thursday, I'm telling you this for a reason. This past Thursday, I got up early, and I normally go for a walk in the mornings, and I noticed next to the hotel I was staying at, there was this just kind of a nondescript road, with a few little businesses on it. And the first door I knocked on, I should have known this was not going to go well, because when you pull up, there's this big no parking sign over here, and all cars will be towed over here, and there's all kinds of no, no, no signs staring me in the face, right? Like that song from years ago, signs, signs, everywhere's a sign. Well, this one was like, before I got out of the car, I thought, well, I'm not a prophet here, so let me go ahead and just say hello. So when I get up to the door, naturally, I pull on it, and it's locked, and there's a little doorbell buzzer right in my eye. I mean, I'm down a little low, so it's right there in my face. And before I can push it, this lady comes out of the office, and she opens the door. And I go, hey, good morning, and I kind of wipe my feet, like, come in, right? And she opens, and I come on in, and I say, hi, good morning, how are you doing? I'm Ronnie, I'm with the bank, I'm here to give away some free money. And she doesn't crack a smile. She looks at me, and she goes, you don't have an appointment, do you? I said, as a matter of fact, I don't. I said, but here's my card. I work with the bank. Here's what I actually said to her. I says, and you guys don't take credit cards either, do you? And she goes, no, we don't. I said, great. Well, you got my card. You have a nice day. And I left. So then this story is about love. Trust me, this is about love and grace. So I go to the next, and I pulled out of her parking lot, only to drive 50 feet to the next building, you know, but I didn't want to stay in that parking lot, so I pulled in, and there's just this really tired, dilapidated, needing paint, needing a door, needing a broom business. And I get out of the car, and this chihuahua about this big, this little ugly, wire-haired chihuahua, comes out of nowhere and tells me I'm not supposed to be there. And just, bah, 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 bah. And I thought, bless your heart, you are so ugly, only your mama could love you. I mean, that's an ugly dog. And he had a patch on his bottom end. It looked like somebody had taken a barber's razor and went, whoop, you know, about that far, okay? And I thought, I'm sure there's a way you got that, but I don't even know. So I'd let the dog bark at me, and then I'd walk 2 steps. And it was kind of one of these, run, 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 run. Okay. Run, 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 run. Okay, we're cool. Run, 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 run. Well, I did this from here to you, okay? No, from almost from here to you, ma'am, right? Just walking around my car, and just junk cars laying everywhere. And I get to the threshold. I'm 2 feet from the threshold of the door, which is wide open, and I look inside and I go, oh my God, I'm not sitting down in there. This is my thought. And I get to that threshold. The whole time I've never taken my eyes off this little wire-haired, ugly little chihuahua, little girl, and she's barking at me the whole way. Well, when I got 2 feet from that threshold, she had already gone inside, and I thought, well, I've been keeping this little distance. Nope, you're not coming through. She bit me on the foot. Right? So I said, oh, wow. I mean, she just bit my shoe, you know. I mean, so, oh, wow. And about that time, I turned around, and this guy about that big around, with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, he looked like he was 100, but he was probably 50. You know, I mean, just rough. Same ball cap he probably had on when he was born. You know, just, he goes, can I help you? I said, yeah. I said, the first thing you could do is call this killer attack dog off me, okay? And he says, that's my daughter's dog. I'm just watching it for the day. And about that time, the little dog ran up under a car that was kind of leaning over to the side because the tires were flat, and backed up under the fender of this car and went. And I went, oh, there's where the come from, right? You can see it just wore it right off the tail. So I'm looking at this, and I say a couple things to the guy, and well, it's obvious that I'm not getting anywhere here either. You know, you never know. And I got back and I sat in the car and I thought about this. I said, you know, love is an interesting thing, isn't it? I mean, what we love and what we don't love. Right? That dog was ugly now, I'm telling you, and mean, but his mama loved him. Don't judge the book. That was a good dog. It was doing its job, right? It was protecting the property, and it was telling me nicely for a long time, don't come in the store. I'm telling you, don't come in the door. It was a loving dog. It was just loving who took care of it. So, moral of the story, message of the story is, love the ones you're with, love your neighbor as yourself. Don't judge the book by its cover. I'm sure if I'd have spent some time with that little ratty dog, she'd have let me pick her up. But I wasn't going to waste any time that day. So, celebrating Aaron's birthday today, it's a love day. And by the grace of God, we're all here today. Amen?
Amen.
All right, thank you.
The next portion of our service, which is comprised of 3 parts, the healing portion, the inspiration lecture, and the demonstration of spiritual gifts, will begin. We will begin the healing portion by reciting the prayer for spiritual healing together. It's on the back of your hymnal in bold type. Ashton will be leading the meditation, and Judy will be doing the healing. During the service, you'll hear this sound, which means that the chair has become vacant if somebody else would like to sit down and get spiritual healing. Please read unison with me. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask this great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and power of God.
Good morning. Let us get ready for the meditation. Find a comfortable sitting position where there is no tension or pressure on your physical body. Close your eyes. Foot straight on the ground, palms up in your laps. Just take a few deep breaths through your nose. Inhale. And with your exhale, just release and let go. If there is any stress, any worries, any concerns that you have on your mind, with your exhale, just let go. Breathe it out. Breathe in and breathe out. And allow your body to become totally relaxed. With each breath, feel your body becoming more and more relaxed. There are no thoughts. They all disappeared. Just focus on your breath. While you are breathing in and out, go deeper and deeper within. Find that calm and peaceful presence within while you are breathing. It feels quiet, calm, and soothing. Gently repeat to yourself quietly, I am at peace within. and with my surroundings. I am at peace within and with my surroundings. Repeat this few more times till you feel the peaceful sensation, feeling your entire body, your mind, and your spirit. Now slowly shift your awareness higher to your heart. Feel the warmth of your heart. This is the presence of God within your heart. Feel God's unconditional love and compassion that is present in your heart. Love is your essence, and your essence is God. Feel God's unconditional love in your heart, and know that you are a divine being, spiritual being, having human experience, physical experience. Your true essence is love. Feel God's unconditional love in your heart. And see it bubbling out of your heart in a form of rose pink energy that is pure love and healing. Know that you have the ability to love yourself and others. Now hold your highest intentions for love and healing. Think of those who are in need for healing at this time. Anyone that has hurt you in the past, or you have conflict with this individual. Open your heart and send healings to this individual. Forgive for all that was done in the past. Just send love and healings. And know the person that is receiving the healing, it is healed. And the relationship and the conflict is healed with love and forgiveness. Anyone that hurts you, send them love. Anyone that mistreats you, send your love and healing to that person, to that situation, whatever it is. Forgive yourself for causing pain and suffering for others. And forgive those who have caused you pain. It is through forgiveness your spirit will be granted to eternity, to the everlasting love. The love of God. Embrace yourself in this universal love. Love one another. Love your brothers and sisters. Love your neighbors. Love strangers, for they are also part of the great spirit that we all are. We are one. We all are one. One in God. We all belong to the same source, the divine source of oneness. Envision beautiful and harmonious earth. Envision all the people, humanity, everywhere around the world, near and far, are holding hands and expressing their love to one another. Love is what keeps us united. Let love prevail on earth. Let love be wherever you are. Be the great love that you are. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel God's love growing bigger and bigger in your heart. You are a great healer. You can heal yourselves and heal others. Now let us focus sending healing to Mardi. She is a member of this church and she's having physical challenges. She is in the hospital. Let us focus on our heart and mind and send this loving, healing energy from your heart to Mardi. She is in the Halifax hospital. Just envision Mardi or feel her presence. See her receiving this healing energy. For the wellness of her mind, body, and spirit. told her in your intentions that she is well received and healed with the power of God. If you know anyone that is in need for healing, take a few minutes and just send this healing energy to that person. Have faith and believe in yourself that you can heal in the presence of God. Send your healings to the ocean, to the plant kingdom, to the animals, send your healings to Mother Earth. See this healing energy flowing everywhere, shifting the consciousness of the earth and humanity to the higher dimensions of existence that is of pure love, peace, and harmony. Start slowly coming back to your physical body. Become aware of your physical senses. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and be here. Thank you. You are true blessing, Ronnie. I'm glad that you're here. You and your music sure makes a difference here. Our speaker today is Reverend Steve Adkins. Reverend Steve Adkins is the founder and the pastor of the People's Church of Divine Prophecy. He is an ordained minister, medium, healer, teacher, and lecturer. He serves as pastor of the People's Church of Divine Prophecy, which meets every Sunday morning here at 11 o'clock. He has been a spiritual worker for the past 25 years, and he has worked in the UK and USA demonstrating evidential spiritual existence and performing physical healings. When I first started coming to this church, my first question was to Reverend Steve, are there any rules and policies in this church that we need to be abide by? And his response was, Ashken, just be yourself. You are perfect the way you are. There are no rules, there are no regulations in this church. This is the People's Church. We are gathering here to love one another and heal each other. So help me to welcome Reverend Steve Adkins.
Good morning, everybody. As I said before, it's a real pleasure to be here today to speak with everybody. God invites people that come here, and they come on the day they're invited, so I'm pleased to see you all here. I guess what Ronnie didn't remember was we're taping these things and putting them on the internet, so some of them people he's talking about might see what he said about it. He might get some of those phone calls after all. He didn't think he was going to get. So.
I didn't name any businesses, did you notice? Or town.
I thought all week about what to talk about, and I kept getting nothing at all. And I got up early this morning, and I'm sitting there looking at my computer, and I'm still getting nothing. And then stuff started flowing, and I choose to speak about the principles of life today. I can remember back in my early days when I was pretty much a hedonist and hellraiser and was out and about for myself. And I enjoyed doing that as much as what I enjoy doing now. The difference is that my attitudes, morals, and ethics have changed. And I do now with as much enthusiasm as what I did then. It's just a different expression. So to say that I regret the things I did is not correct. I enjoyed them as much as I enjoy what I'm doing now. And I don't think we should have any regrets about our lives. We should be able to move forward without being bound by the past. Don't forget the past, but don't be bound by it either. Too many times, I know when I was trying to sober up from alcohol, a lifetime of drinking and being unkind to a lot of people, I kept thinking, what kept me drinking was I didn't think I could ever make it right with people. And that was my excuse to keep drinking for a long time. And finally, this one guy said when I was in the rooms of a group that tries to help you stop drinking, he said, don't try to think about making amends to everybody. He said, just try to be the best person you can be from this day forward. That's what your responsibility is, not to be bound by the person you were. It's a vicious circle. You just keep getting drawn back and drawn back. And that doesn't matter if you did something yesterday that you're not proud of or something you did 10 years ago you're not proud of. You're always going to feel a little bit of regret that you didn't do something different. But it should not interfere with you moving forward with your life. And I guess the easiest thing to do is to apologize, if you can, to whoever you did it to. And let it lay where it will. And just remember that they may not be ready to accept your apology. But that, again, should not bind you from moving forward with your life. You've done what you should do. You've tried to make amends. And if they choose to hang on to it, it's their choice. God's teachings tell us to be kind at every turn. Evolution teaches us to fear the world and be reactionary to our environment. As we move through life, one or the other tends to be in the forefront of our mind with every social situation we find ourselves in. As spiritual people, we try to set up these guides and these thoughts and these principles that we've embraced at different times over our lives to act as an interpreter for how we should react to the world around us. Spiritual teachings are based on a higher knowledge where our reaction by our instincts, our fears, and our emotions are based on millions of years of genetics. Which do you think is probably the first one that comes out of this? So spiritual teachings have to be thought about again and again and again, practiced again and again and again until they become habit, until they become second nature and begin to take the place of that millions of years of evolution that we have within us, struggling, fighting, and being fearful of everything that startles us. The problem with spiritual teachings is they tend to be very simply stated. We'll just take one for example, the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. That's pretty straight on its face, but we tend to get real complicated with it as human beings. We tend to say, well, if it's safe for me to do that, I'll do that. And if it's the right time for me to do that, I'll do that. And if they're being nice to me, I'll do that. So we tend to complicate this when it's pretty simple on its face. Spiritual teachings do have a philosophical side to them that we can discern beyond what's stated. As with the golden rule, do unto others as they would have you do unto you, this is one of the most profound statements that was ever made. Because it tells you to put someone else's interest before your own. And that's in direct contradiction to everything that we have for millions of years of genetics, is to try to put somebody else's interest in front of ours. Now that doesn't mean that if we're standing out in the freezing cold and we've got one jacket, we give that jacket to somebody and in turn ourselves freeze to death. That's not exactly what that means. What it means is if you have a coat and a sweater on, you take the sweater off and give it to the person. And that was kind of funny because that happened to me the other day when it was really cold out, back when we had cold weather here. We're riding down the road and I've got this work coat on, and it's my only work coat. And me and my wife are riding down the road and there's this guy standing by the roadside. And he's there in short sleeves and it's about 30 to 40 degrees outside. He's got a sign on, need help. He's obviously been beat up and bleeding. And my wife says, give him your work coat. I said, I am not giving him my work coat. There was a coat in the back though. I said, well, give him that coat. And she says, well, that's my coat. I said, yeah, but you got more at home. This is my only work jacket. This is what keeps me safe through the day. This is the thing for me. So we ended up giving that to him, but I did give him my stocking cap out of my work coat because I could easily get another one of them. So you can be kind to people at every turn within reason. You don't harm yourself to be kind to other people. That's where we get into this martyr complex. That's where we get this, my dad used to do this, oh, you're so sad, you look like you're being nailed to a cross today, And that's what we get into when we go too far with a spiritual principle without using our ethics and morals as guidelines. We do it emotionally rather than spiritually. We need to be reasonable with how we put these things forward. At some point through continual effort, like I said, though, we begin to get a balance with this. It's not this one extreme to another. It begins to be balanced. We begin to allow the instincts of survival to hybrid with our spiritual teachings. And we begin to stop this seesaw back and forth between the two, and they begin to work in unison with each other. And that's what we look for, is a balance between the two, because as long as we have this flesh, we're going to be human beings about what we do. So our task is to take those spiritual teachings and understand what their expression is and understand how to act with balance within our lives. If you got somebody that's a millionaire, you can't expect them to give away everything they've got until they've got nothing, because they've got $1 million. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, this is just a little side here, there's a trust set up by Bill Gates, and there's a huge number of the wealthiest people in the world who have pledged 75% of everything they own to this trust. Now they figured out that 25% is what they need to live their lifestyle. And we're going, heck, if I had 1% of that money, I'd have a nice life. But again, it's all relative. The person who's on welfare looking at the person who's making $20,000 a year saying, man, if I could make $20,000 a year, I'd be set. The person making $20,000 looks at the person making $50,000 and says, man, if I could make $50,000, I'd be set. And it's all relative. Because within 6 months, if you took a person making $20,000 and put them into a position making $50,000, within 6 months they'd be looking at making $70,000, because it's our nature to always want to progress forward. No one, no matter where they're at or what they're doing, I don't care if you're on welfare, drawing government checks, or making $1 million a year, the human nature wants to progress. It wants to better itself. And all the people that say, oh, the bums this or the rich people that, they don't really understand human nature. Because human nature, at its core, by its spiritual nature, wants to progress and move forward. Sometimes we just lack the knowledge. Sometimes we lack the wisdom. And I remember it was real interesting when somebody said the difference between wisdom and knowledge. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing you don't put it in a fruit salad. So this is how we have to balance out knowledge and wisdom through our lives. We have to know when to apply the knowledge in its proper place. The 10 Laws of Right of Emma Hardage Britton, which are in that blue handout out back, kind of go along with, they kind of tend to explain more about the Golden Rule. The third law of right says, show gentleness, kindness in speech and action, never carelessly wounding the feelings of others by harsh words or deeds, or by hurting or killing another living creature, except for sustenance or self-defense. This kind of puts a little clarity to it and makes it a little more able to practice it within reason and common sense of the Golden Rule. The fourth one says, express truth in every thought, word, and deed, remembering always to keep harsh or hurtful truths to yourself when they would carelessly hurt the feelings of another. Keeping truths. Now, we've heard people say all the time, well, why'd you say that? What's the truth, isn't it? Well, this says to keep it to yourself, it's going to unnecessarily harm somebody. Saying the truth is not always the right thing to do if you're using it as a dagger to stab somebody in their emotional heart with. These 2 laws of right of the 10 have probably given me my most challenges, but has also produced the most spiritual awakening within my life over the years. And I run into this time and time again in social situations with family, social situations with work. There's some statements here that I put at the bottom, and this is where I really mess up sometimes when I write out inspirational things to talk about. It says, talk about your spiritual growth and experiences coupled with the spiritual truisms below. So I wrote a bunch of truisms. I guess I'm going to have to figure out examples in my life to go with each one of them. This is Spirit trying to get me to think on in the moment. Be kind all the time. This does not mean you cannot stand up for yourself and be firm about something, but do it in a civilized manner without anger. And that's the hardest thing to do sometimes, trying to be kind to somebody who's standing there being as obnoxious as they can be, as unkind as they can be. And that goes back to you are directed to be a spiritual being by your own conscience. All the time, every time. You're not relieved of that responsibility because somebody else is choosing not to be that way. Somebody rides by you and gives you sign language on I-4. Somebody decides to scream at you unreasonably because they've had a bad day. Your job is not to scream back. You need to continue to be a spiritual person even though the other person is choosing not to be. That doesn't mean put yourself in harm's way, stand there and take a shot if that's what they want to do to you. But it means continue to be mannerly and respectful, but you can still do it firmly. You don't have to do it with anger. Take time to commune with God or the higher forces at least daily, if not hourly. I remember when I first started thinking about when I was with that group trying to sober up, the same guy that told me what I said before, this group was telling me, if somebody makes you mad, pray for them. And back then I said, well, there ain't no way under the sun I can do that. And then this guy who was a 1%er like myself, that's the people that get violent when they drink, he says, pray you don't do something to somebody. I said, now that I can do. That I can definitely do. So it doesn't matter what the spiritual truth is, there's a way to make it your own. There's a way to find how it fits within your life. Don't take it the way somebody else says it to you. Go into silent commune with God, and you'll figure out, either through a person standing in front of you telling you like that, or in the privacy of your own mind, you will be given what to do, and you'll know it because it'll feel right when you feel it. It won't be this, well, maybe that's the right thing. It'll be known. It'll be felt through your heart. Remember that being humble does not mean being down on your knees. You can be humble firmly with strength, standing squarely, looking at somebody, speaking the truth without being overbearing. And the example I'd give of that is I primarily run into that with family members. Some of them are asking for a lot of help at times, and at some point you realize that you're not helping. You're just allowing them to continue a lifestyle that is destructive to themselves. And at that point you can humbly say, I'm not giving anymore. It's time for you to stand up and get on with things. That's fair. That's humble without going into this tirade of all the times they failed in the past. It's simply put, it's humbly put, and it's direct, and you're on your feet when you say it. It's kind of like when you apologize, and no apology made ever starts with the word but, or has the word but in it. An apology is from the heart, taking responsibility for what you've done, and nothing else. Love is not something we choose to give out. It is a spiritual virtue that flows from the heart. Love also gives us a greater understanding of what we are participating in when seen through God's eyes. So when we're standing there and we know that we love somebody, there's a couple different types of love. One is the emotional attachment as a physical being. The other is God's love being expressed through you. And I give an example of this as I used to be a lifeguard many years ago. And one of the techniques they teach you when you swim out to help somebody, especially in the ocean, is to allow the elements to subdue them further. Don't try to get to them when they're in a panic, thrashing around, because they'll drown you trying to save themselves. So you let the elements subdue them further until they get to a point of being helpless. And this is the same thing of how we give love sometimes. We have to step back and let the situations these people have created to make them helpless. And they're really willing to receive help, to receive that love from you. And it's really hard to do when you care about the person. But it's the longer view that you have rather than the shorter view. Be grateful for what you have. Each day thank God for what you have, not dwell on what you haven't received. I remember this recording artist, Alyssa Marison, part of one of her songs says, it's not getting what you want, it's wanting what you got. Because if you're not happy with what you have, you don't appreciate what you're given regardless of what it is. You're always going to be grabbing, taking, and moving on to the next thing, never appreciating what you have. And God is similar to a parent or a brother or a sister that keeps giving and giving and giving to one of their loved ones, their siblings or somebody else. And they just keep taking and taking and taking. They never take time to appreciate what they've got. It's the matter of getting it rather than appreciating it. And I'm trying to decide to retire next year or 5 years from now or something like that. And I'm sitting here thinking all these financial insecurity reasons why I shouldn't retire. Well, I don't have enough money saved. I haven't had any money saved since I turned 20 years old. How can I expect to have money saved in the next couple of years? I never managed to save money. And it's not because I'm not frugal with my money. It's because I help people And anytime I get money saved, there's a dire emergency that needs that money. But the money's always there. The supply's always there when it comes time that I need it or someone close to me needs it. Whether it's $100 or $1,000, the money always seems to be there to be given. And it kind of hurts me to give it out and have nothing left to give. But you have to realize that the supply will always come back to you if you give it with the spirit, the correct spirit. So be grateful for what you have. I wake up in the morning next to a loving wife who I trust, who I trust to be around me when I'm awake, who I trust to be around me when I'm asleep, who I trust to care for me. I have a wonderful house that I live in. I have a pretty stable job. I have good health for 62 years old. I guess for pretty much anybody. You have to take time to list your blessings on a daily basis. Because there's a lot of people who can't even get out of bed without using a walker. Who can't get out of bed, period. As you get older, you see more and more of the people you know like that. You see more and more people with failing health. These are the things we have to take time to appreciate. The very things that we take for granted. The very things that a lot of people don't have. The freedoms we have around us. The health we have. The places we're in. Take time to appreciate them. I guess I've probably talked about long enough. I'm going to close with a passage out of the Spiritualist Manual. And it's called Hiding Man's Divinity. The gods, having stolen from man his divinity, met in council to discuss where they should hide it. One suggested that it be carried to the other side of the earth and buried. But it was pointed out that man is a great wanderer, and that he might find the lost treasure on the other side of the earth. Another proposed that it be dropped into the depths of the sea, but the same fear was expressed, that man, in his insatiable curiosity, might dive deep enough to find it even there. Finally, after a space of silence, the oldest and wisest of the gods said, "Hide it within man himself, as that is the last place he will ever think to look for it." And all agreed, seeing its subtle and wise strategy. Man wandered the earth for ages, searching in all places, high and low, far and near, before he thought to look within himself for the divinity that he sought. At last, slowly, dimly, he began to realize that what he thought was far off and hidden in the distance is nearer than the breath he breathes, even his own heart. Thank you for giving me your time today.